11 runs for the Jays and 11 Ks for Trey Savage.
From MLB.com, this is the Morning Lineup Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Castrovins. Today is Monday, October 6th, and on today's show, we'll get you caught up on the Polanco pair, the Vladdy Granny, and all the other action from the ALDS on Sunday. We'll also get you primed for the resumption of the NLDS series tonight. You know, they call it the Division Series, and yet it brings us together here. That's nice, isn't it? Away we go. The Tigers won a game Saturday that felt like two when they outlasted the Mariners in the 11-inning opener of the ALDS at T-Mobile Park with a gritty 3-2 victory. Their advantage seemed amplified by the fact that soon-to-be two-time Cy Young winner Tarik Skubal would be taking the ball in Game 2 with a chance to extend the misery of Mariners fans who hadn't witnessed a home playoff win since 2001. Skubal, a product of nearby Seattle University, had his favorite campus tacos delivered to the visiting clubhouse prior to first pitch, and then he delivered 3 scoreless innings in his first trip through the Mariners lineup. But with the bases empty in the 4th, veteran infielder Jorge Polanco, who was re-signed by Seattle to a 1-year deal for 2025 after a difficult and injury-plagued 2024, showed why he is so important to this club.
Polanco sends this to left, and that ball is history.
That made it 1-0. Later in the 6th, it was Polanco versus Skubal, again with no one on, and incredibly, the same result.
Swung on, blasted, left field, this is gonna go, he's done it again, it is gone!
Polanco became the first player to hit multiple home runs off Skubal in a game since Paul Goldschmidt back in August of 2021, and he had the M's up 2-0. But the Tigers had their aces back in the 8th. With Matt Brash on the mound, Gleyber Torres drew a walk, and a fielding error by Josh Naylor allowed him to reach second on a Riley Green fielder's choice. That had 2 on with 1 out for Spencer Torkelson.
2-2 pitch. The other way, it's a fair ball down the right field line. Here's the throw, it's cut off, and this game is tied.
So it wasn't a torque bomb, but it was a torque tie at 2 apiece. So T-Mobile Park was very much on edge as the threat of Seattle's best team in a generation going down 0-2 in this series was still very real. But in the bottom of the 8th, the Mariners MVP, Cal Raleigh, dumped a double to right, and then Julio Rodriguez did his best Edgar Martinez impersonation.
And the 1-0 pitch, swinging a line drive, left field line, fair ball, into the corner. Cal Raleigh third being waved in. He's bringing home the mail. Julio in at second with an RBI double.
The Mariners went ahead 3-2, and closer Andres Munoz nailed it down with a 1-2-3-9. After the game, the hero Julio discussed what this win meant.
I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot. You know, I know these fans have been waiting a while, and we definitely grind a lot for them. But to deliver one win for them is really special. But we know the job is not finished, and we got to go to Detroit.
So the Mariners and Tigers are knotted at a win apiece in this best of 5, which is moving on to the Motor City tomorrow afternoon. When the Blue Jays signed Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a $500 million extension at the start of the season, they kept him from free agency and announced that they still plan to win around him. The Jays wound up winning a lot, often at the expense of the defending AL East and American League champion Yankees. And that must mean a lot to Guerrero, who was once asked if he would ever play for the Yankees and said, quote, "No, not even dead." Ouch. So Guerrero might be bringing some extra juice to this matchup with the Yanks in the division series that began with his 3-hit showing in a 10-1 victory in Game 1 and continued Sunday with Game 2. With rookie pitching sensation Trey Savage taking care of business on the mound, the Blue Jay bats went to work in the 2nd inning when Dalton Varsho doubled and advanced to third on an Aaron Judge misplay in right field, priming the Rogers Center for what Ernie Clement did on the very next pitch from Max Fried.
Runner at third, nobody out. Ernie Clement leans into one to deep left field. It is gone! Ernie Clement makes it 2-0.
That 2-0 lead became 5-0 in the Jays' 3-run third, capped when the Ernie show, no Bert about it, continued with an RBI single. But the biggest blow of the ballgame would come from Guerrero himself. It was still 5-0 in the fourth when Andres Gimenez and Miles Straw both reached to chase Fried from the game. Then George Springer drew a walk off Will Warren to load the bases. And up came the man who could probably run for Prime Minister of Canada right now.
Swinging a deep drive, left field. That ball is soaring out of here. A grand slam. Hit yourself all you want. You will not wake up from this dream right now.
There it is, the new defining moment in Vladdy's great career. It was the first grand slam in the Blue Jays franchise's postseason history, and it earned Guerrero a curtain call with the Jays up 9-0. That was an embarrassment of riches for Savage, who in only his fourth major league start threw 5 1/3 scoreless innings in which he struck out 11 of the 18 batters he faced.
I don't know. I mean, when I was out there, I could feel the energy of the crowd, and I just knew something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be all that.
Though the Yankees would score some runs late, the Blue Jays still rolled 13-7. Their 23 runs so far this series are the most ever for a team 2 games into a postseason. And now they have a commanding 2-0 edge in a series that shifts to the Bronx tomorrow night. Here's what Yankee skipper Aaron Boone had to say about the Yankees headed home with their backs against the wall.
Feels like the world's caving in around you. And, you lose 2 games like that in their building where it doesn't go right. But all of a sudden you go out there and win a ball game on Tuesday, the needle can change. There's been a lot of weird things that have happened in baseball this year. This would not be the weirdest. Obviously, they've had our number and gotten the better of us so far this year, but I don't think anyone in our room doesn't feel like we can't go out and beat them.
Coming up, morale is high in Milwaukee, and there is frustration in Philly. We'll get you primed for Game 2 of the 2 NL Division Series after the break. Okay, we now return you to your regularly scheduled National League Division Series, both of which resume tonight. Let's begin with Dodgers-Phillies Game 2 at Citizens Bank Park at 6:08 p.m. Eastern Time on TBS. Mathematically, this is not a must-win game for the host Phils, but theoretically, in the history of the best-of-5 format, teams that go 0-2 with the first 2 games at home have come back to win the series just 3 times in 31 chances. So like a security guard at your local depository, they must protect the bank. In Game 1 on Saturday at Citizens Bank Park, Phillies reliever Matt Strahm could not protect the lead. It was 3-2 with 2 on and 2 out in the 7th when Teoscar Hernandez muscled one out to right.
Hernandez, a high fly ball deep into right center. Got some barrel on that one. It's got some carry, and it is gone!
The Dodgers won that one 5-3 and will send proven postseason asset Blake Snell to the mound tonight opposite Jesus Luzardo, who has a 7.71 ERA in 3 career postseason starts. The late season injury to Zach Wheeler thrust Luzardo into this prominent start at home with a lot on the line. But he said he's not feeling any extra pressure here.
I think it's just another game. In reality, I think in the grand scheme of things, there's been a lot of series this year that, we ended up winning after losing Game 1, that we just bounced back and won 2 in a row. So I think that's the mentality that we have to take.
After 5 off days last week, the NL's #1 seeded Brewers played Game 1 of their NLDS with the Cubs on Saturday and prevailed 9-3, only to be hit with another off day. But they needed this one to assess the condition of star outfielder Jackson Chourio, who exited in the 2nd inning of Game 1 with hamstring tightness. Chourio had an MRI that came back inconclusive, so the Brewers weren't sure of his status for tonight. What we do know is that this 9:08 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:08 p.m. local game on TBS will pitch Shota Imanaga of the Cubs opposite an opener for the Brewers in Aaron Ashby. Whether this will be a bullpen game for the Brew Crew or whether Quinn Priester will follow as the bulk guy remains to be seen. But the Milwaukee bullpen is plenty rested given all the off days and Freddie Peralta pitching into the 6th inning of the Game 1 rout. True to form, the Brewers' high-contact, high-energy offense didn't even need to hit the ball over the fence to put up 9 runs in that game. The only team to score a lower percentage of their runs via the long ball this season were the Pirates. The Cubs, on the other hand, scored all 3 of their runs in Game 1 on solo homers. Manager Craig Counsell didn't think his club would have any trouble moving on from what happened in Game 1.
There's no penalty. It's one loss. Doesn't count for more how you lose. We didn't lose well, but a close game could have cost us some pitching type stuff too. So we lost, you move on. That's how the clubhouse felt.
All right, that's all for the morning lineup today. Enjoy the Game 2s tonight, 6:08 Eastern Time for Dodgers Phils, 9:08 for Cubs Brewers, both games on TBS. Will Leach will be back to recap those games for you tomorrow. Until then, thanks for listening. Please be sure to leave us a rating and review, share this episode with the baseball lovers in your life, and enjoy the games tonight.